Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad to see you back. I hope that you're doing well. If you're not new on my channel, you know that I'm currently doing a weight loss challenge, which is called 66 Transform Challenge. So initially I just wanted to kind of film a vlog, a day in the life of someone who does a weight loss challenge. And then I also thought, why not share some thoughts on consistency and productivity, which are a huge, obviously, part of doing a weight loss challenge, because you do have to be consistent for a really long period of time. In my case with this challenge, it's 66 days, so it's 9.5, almost 10 weeks. For the longest time, I thought that consistency was a direct result of motivation and inspiration. How much you wanted something, how motivated you felt, and it was something that came out of nowhere. The more I matured, the more I learned from others and from myself, from my own personal experiences, the more I realized that it has very little to do with motivation, and it has a lot to do with what you actively do to help yourself stay consistent. It's sort of an act of studying yourself and trying to understand what works and what doesn't for you and your lifestyle and your current environment, learning and implementing hacks that help you stay on track and stay consistent with what you're trying to do. So for example, when it comes to my schedule, it's a really good example. I had to go to the extremes first to find that happy medium for me. So I went through a phase where I scheduled every single thing. I didn't have a single blank spot on my calendar. And after doing it for a while, for a couple of months, I learned that it really made me miserable. I felt like I was a prisoner of my schedule, of my calendar. So I went and did the opposite. I didn't schedule anything. And after doing it for a couple of months, I learned that that actually made me feel like I'm not getting anything done, and that my schedule is a complete chaos because I don't know when I'm supposed to do what, I'm forgetting things. It made me feel chaotic. It took me a while to learn how to do a little bit of both and how to find that balance that made me happy. There is also another thing that I had to kind of learn for myself: when is the best time for me to wake up and how much sleep do I personally need? Because of course, if you go online, there's so much different information. Some people tell you to wake up at 4 a.m. and that's how you're going to be the most productive and successful in your life. If I wake up at 5 a.m., I can do it. I've done it. I went through a phase where for 6 months I woke up at 5 a.m. every single day. But after 6 months, I was so burnt out that then I spent about a year completely demotivated, completely didn't want to work, didn't want to do anything, couldn't look at my business. I had a business at that time that I grew during those 6 months. After a year and a half, I couldn't do anything. I had to close that business. Even the thought of having to go out there and face my clients and having to do the work, I felt really miserable even thinking about that. So yes, waking up at 5 a.m. technically worked. I did it for 6 months, but at what cost and what did I have to face afterwards? So I know now, and I've tested it many times afterwards, every single time without a fail, that I wake up early, especially without getting sufficient amount of sleep the night prior, I get burnt out much quicker. My mind feels overwhelmed. I can't control my eating habits as well, and that's very important for me personally, because I am trying to lose weight. This is just to say that sometimes if something works for majority of people or for everyone else, it doesn't necessarily mean that the same should work for you or does work for you. And this is why I think it's so important to actually watch yourself, like treat yourself as a case study almost, you know, and kind of experiment with things. I did the same with my skin. I used to have acne. Went to the doctor, they wanted to put me on 3 months of steroids. I actually learned a lot about skincare through that. At the end of the day, all that it was honey. So through testing different foods, because I became suspicious that it might be certain food that I'm eating, I started just experimenting with different foods, and through that experimenting I learned that it was honey that caused my acne. So I think that, like with everything in life, it's important, of course, to seek out advice and learn from other people, but I also think that it's important to try things, look inwards and see what works best for you. So one of the biggest hacks that I've learned was to do as much as possible in the morning, first thing in the morning, to get it out of the way Especially the things that I don't want to say that I'm not looking forward to doing, but the things that I know that realistically, if I leave them till the very last moment, I probably will not do them. There is such thing as decision paralysis. It's like a battery on your phone. So just imagine that you have the same battery that your phone has. So when you sleep, you charge your battery. When you wake up, it's fully charged, and then as the day progresses, your battery level goes down. And that battery is not only for your energy, but it's also for your decision making. For me personally, and I know that there are other people like that too, that in the morning, I make the best decisions when it comes to my eating, my health, and then as the day progresses, my decisions become less and less good for me, let's just put it that way. Most of my binging episodes would happen in the evening. By the way, another great hack, if you are someone like me who used to struggle with binging in the evenings, what I did, I found a job, an evening job, so that I would be occupied during the evening. That was the only way that I could break that cycle of binge eating for myself, because we are products of our environment, right? And a lot of our behaviors is dictated by where we are. If you look at that environment, very often you will find little hacks that you can apply for breaking certain patterns that you want to break, or creating new healthy patterns. There are also little hacks that you can do to help yourself stay consistent. So for example, for me, creatine is a relatively new habit that I'm trying to introduce into my life, because it's such a small little thing that only takes 30 seconds. I know that it can easily fall off my radar. So what I started doing is I would put the box of creatine, or the jar, or whatever it's called, almost in the middle of my counter, right next to my scale. And the scale is important because when I have my breakfast, I use the scale every single time. If I reach for the scale, I see creatine right next to it, so I remember then that I also have to take creatine. Then there are things such as gym, right? I go to the gym 6 days a week. I did it for the first time about a year ago, I believe, as part of a different challenge that I did. I never completed the challenge in full. And then when I stopped doing that challenge, it kind of fell off again my radar. I go to the gym 6 days a week, by the way, because it really helps my mental health. When I stopped doing that challenge, I started doing it very inconsistently. So I would go sometimes 3 days a week, sometimes 4, sometimes 6. It would depend on my mood and my motivation. And then I was like, you know what, I just need to do it consistently for a certain period of time so that it becomes a habit. It becomes part of my routine. So this is why I started this challenge. And I know that challenges maybe might sound a bit extreme to a lot of the people, but this is what I for myself decided would work best for me. If I had something very structured, very strict, it's like you have to do it, otherwise you're gonna fail the challenge if you're not gonna do it. So I needed something so structured and so strict to give me that push. I also used the challenge for other things, tracking my calories. Now it's become such a natural part of my routine, whereas before I would dread it. It would feel like the most time-consuming thing, whereas now it's like, okay, so I'm standing here waiting for my eggs to boil. Let me also use this time to update my FitnessPal. So I just grab my phone and I do it. Thankfully, my FitnessPal makes it really easy. This is a side note, but what I'm looking forward to the most when this challenge is over is not having to go on walks. I can't stand it. Anyways, and I'm only doing 3 a week. I'm not doing them daily, you know what I mean? And I'm already struggling, and I'm waiting for the challenge to end so I don't have to go on walks. I'm really good at being consistent on so many things these days, but water is just this one thing, and I'm okay with that. Listen, I'll let it be. Saying that, with water, what I try to do to help myself is, first of all, I bought a tumbler, a very cute tumbler that really helped, because it makes the whole experience of drinking water, at least for me personally, a little bit more exciting because it's a cute tumbler. Also, I take it with me everywhere. It's like with creatine that I mentioned earlier. It's next to my laptop. It's in my bedroom when I go to sleep. It's on the desk when I'm there. It always comes with me everywhere I go. When I go to the gym, I also have a different tumbler. And I always tell myself when I go to the gym that I have to drink the entire thing while I'm in the gym, which is easy because you're in the gym already, you're sweating, you're thirsty, and it's easy to drink an entire tumbler of water there. And so that's half of my water intake that I have to do daily. And then finally, the trackers. And it's literally those with red asterisks. This is everything for the challenge. These are the items that I have to do for the challenge. And then these are just some of the things that I want to track just for myself. So creatine, no spend, no takeout, these kind of things, you know, they're not part of the challenge, but I really like want to stay on top of them as well. And so for example, today I already took creatine, I worked on my CV, and I did a hypnosis. It's 12 p.m. That's not bad. And then at the end of the day, it's a very nice feeling to sit down, to fill in the boxes. It's like this little thing that is not really necessary, but it's one that I know it works for me, makes me feel good. Like I said, at the end of the day, to sit down and go through everything and be like, you see, you did everything again. This is the time to reflect and be like, well done. Well fucking done. You did it. For 54 days in a row, you've been like just crashing it. You know what I mean? And just give yourself a pat on the back then and be like, yeah, cool. Awesome. These are all my hacks. If I think of anything else, I'll include it, but this is all I can think of right now. Alright, came back from the gym, took a shower. It's only, I think, 2 or 3 o'clock. What I will do now is I will assemble a lunch. This is why I meal prep, so that I don't have to worry about cooking in the middle of the week. I also need to go and get topped up on some groceries, so I'm going to combine my walk with that. I don't mind walking when I have a purpose, so I try to have a purpose and combine those days when I need to go for a walk and also when I need to buy something or go somewhere or do something. That's the only way that I can make myself walk. Another hack that I remembered while I was getting ready after the shower is something I used to do when I used to go to the gym in the morning. When I would wake up in the morning, I would get dressed and put on my gym clothes so that by the time I need to go to the gym, I'm already dressed, I'm ready. I had my gym clothes on. All I had to do, put my shoes on and go, you know. It was much easier for me to make a decision when I was already ready to go. So I have this delicious creamy rice and then this chicken. The original recipe was supposed to be chicken, but I changed it to turkey. You're supposed to put it in like a tortilla or like a wrap. And I ran out of my gluten-free tortillas, so I'm just gonna heat it up in a pan and I'm just gonna have it like that. And also I ran out of all the veggies, but I still have pickles, so I think I'm gonna have pickles with this. I'm going to reposition myself to the couch and continue working from here. Alright, excuse the lighting, but it's dark outside. Just a quick update from the couch. I'm now finished doing some work that I was supposed to do. I am behind my schedule a little bit though. I do want to have an early night today because I have to wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow to do some filming for this channel. I'm done with work now. I'm going to get ready and we're going to go for a walk. I'm still trying to figure out the weather these days, but I think that this is gonna be okay. I have a kind of thermal top underneath as well. Put runners. I don't understand if I look ridiculous or nice. Which it doesn't matter because I'm just going for a walk. I think this is fine, right? Alright, I'm back. I got the groceries, did the walk. I run into this issue sometimes, not very often, thankfully. I think that I'm done for the day, and then I look at my fitness pal and I see that I still have a lot of calories left in the day. When I'm busy, especially, it happens, I just forget. Now it's 7:45 and I still have 750 calories left. Let me see what I can do. Okay, very easy, very quick. I have overcooked gluten-free pasta, some tuna and mayo. Gonna be my meal for tonight. This was around 700 calories, so it actually brought me exactly to the calories that I needed for today. So that's it. I'm gonna enjoy it now. Watch a YouTube video probably. I think I'm gonna end this video here. There's not much else really that I would like to share. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you watched till the very end. I really appreciate it. Leave a like if you liked this video. Also subscribe to my channel if you're not yet a subscriber. I would really appreciate it. But most importantly, come back next week for a new one. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.